welcome. You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Alan Basoyahe coming to you from Los Angeles, California. It's Thursday evening here, the 22nd day of July, 2021. Joining us live tonight from California, we have Prorogation in North Hills.
The Los Angeles Department of Public Health records the county's highest single-day number of COVID-19 positive cases in months.
Mylene Cusho in Granada Hills.
California Public Schools to reopen with free meal program for all students.
Mary Ann Borja in Van Nuys.
UCLA admission rate hits all-time low, enrolls most accomplished and diverse class in history.
Rafael Etigno in Panorama City.
LA's Junior Lake Lifeguard Program resumes.
Brianna Andrade in Santa Clarita.
Los Angeles highlights the newly renovated Lloyd Tabor Marina Del Rey Library.
Daniel Glenn Sukulis in West Hills.
City Controller demands an explanation from the Los Angeles City Sanitation and Environment for the Hyperion sewage spill.
For EBC Sports, Leila Agbalog in Bakersfield.
The very first Olympic virtual series ends with 250,000 online participants from more than 100 countries with over 2 million entries.
For entertainment news, Chester Castro in Northridge.
The Resurgence of GI Joe begins this summer with new film Snake Eyes.
For business news, Bobby Soriano reports about airline industry profits beginning to return and inflation pushing up consumer goods. Plus, tonight we have our little EBC friends joining us for a summer chit-chat and some back-to-school talk. Our coverage begins now. We turn first to today's COVID-19 numbers. According to the Coronavirus Resource Center of Johns Hopkins University at Medicine, as of 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursday, July 22, 2021, the number of cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide is now over 192,369,000. Top three on the list of countries with recorded cases are the U.S. at more than 34.2 million, India at more than 31.2 million, Brazil at more than 19.4 million. This virus has now claimed more than 4,132,000 lives worldwide. Top three countries with the most number of COVID-19 related deaths are the US with over 610,000, Brazil with over 545,000, and India with over 418,000. Total vaccine doses administered worldwide are now at 3,727,952,418. Los Angeles County experiences the highest single-day number of COVID-19 cases in months. To tell us about some of the factors contributing to this unwanted trend is Prorogation in North Hills.
Alan, the Los Angeles Department of Public Health records the county's highest single-day number of COVID-19 positive cases in months with 2,551 new cases yesterday, which public health officials state is a 20-fold rise in a month period, as there were only 124 new positive cases the previous month on June 21. The test positivity rate is now at 5.2%. Barbara Ferrer, the LA Public Health Director, says because of the more infectious Delta variant and the intermingling of unmasked individuals where vaccination status is unknown, unfortunately, we are seeing a surge in cases in LA County that looks somewhat similar to last summer. An important difference this summer is that with millions of people vaccinated, we are hopeful we will avoid similar increases in deaths that were experienced last year. By adding a mask requirement or for everyone indoors, the risk for transmission of the virus will be reduced, and with increases in the number of people getting vaccinated, we should be able to get back to slowing the spread. As of yesterday's statistics, there are 7 new deaths and 585 people hospitalized due to COVID-19, and 23% are in the intensive care unit. Although positive cases have surged to an all-time high since the reopening of the state and county, the good news is that COVID-19 deaths remain low in numbers, attributed to the around 5 million residents vaccinated in Los Angeles County. Unvaccinated Angelenos remain the most at risk in contracting the coronavirus, especially the elderly and those with medical conditions. The clear instruction that the LA Public Health Department is sending to all residents in limiting COVID-19 spread and infection are: first, to get vaccinated. Second, we should wear face covering, stay away from crowded places, frequently wash hands, and remain home when sick. In North Hills, California, Pearl Rugashon, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Pearl, what's the situation update on today's COVID-19 numbers as released by the LA Public Health Department?
Alan, the numbers just released around an hour ago, showing an increase again on COVID-19 positive cases with 2,767 new cases and 13 new deaths. Current hospitalization is now at 645. And Los Angeles residents are strongly urged to follow public health orders on keeping those masks on when indoors. Alan.
Keep us updated, Pearl. Thanks for the report.
Thank you.
As California schools gear up for the school year 2021-22, the state launches the largest free school meal program in the country. Eagle News correspondent Mylene Cuscio joins us tonight with the details.
Thank you, Alan. Public schools in California are soon to reopen completely. Besides masking and social distancing, big changes will be made. First, to ensure that no child is hungry in the classroom through the state's new free school meal program, an unexpected budget surplus for the state's education system made way for all students to receive free meals regardless of their family's income. Previously, not all students receive free food at school, some due to parents being unsure of how to navigate the free meal forms, which ask questions about social security numbers and immigration status. Some might question how the state can sustain feeding all 6.2 million students who attend its schools, but the efforts school administrators and workers have made to feed students during the pandemic shows how feeding students for free is doable. When the pandemic temporarily halted operations of institutions and establishments, schools across the state transformed parking lots into federally funded food pickup sites. The massive turnout of households availing of free meals was real and believed to be invested in it. According to a spokesperson, the Los Angeles Unified School District, the state's largest public school system, handed out 400,000 meals a day. It has around 600,000 students. There was no requirement to fill out applications nor qualifications to avail of the free meals. Although the transition back to school will be a challenging one for students, it is comforting to know that they will not go to school hungry. In Granada Hills, California, Mylene Cuscio, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
You know, Mylene, politicians have differing opinions, right, when it comes to this issue of feeding all of California's students. But have both sides, we're talking about the Democrats and Republicans, have they managed to find some kind of compromise in tackling this issue in an effective way?
Although politicians tend to be divided on how to solve issues relating to housing, education, and more, it has been generally been agreed upon that the mission of feeding all of the students in California is one they should be united on. The coalition which pushed for these policies, School Meals for All, consists of law and policymakers and experts for both Democrats and Republicans. All agree that hunger can greatly impact a student's success in the classroom. Through their efforts in California now plans to eventually spend $650 million annually on free school meals initiative. Alan?
So that's all sides keeping the best interests of kids in mind. That's good to hear. Thank you for the report, Marlene. Meanwhile, the University of California, Los Angeles says its admission rate is at an all-time low with enrollees as the most accomplished and diverse class in history. Eagle News correspondent Marianne Borja has the details.
Thank you, Alan. Attending the University of California, Los Angeles, an iconic and highly regarded university for its first-rate academics, sports, and fun environment, is a goal that many California students have set their sights on. In fact, UCLA reveals that Californians are number one in the amount of applications received for the fall 2021 admission cycle, with close to 140,000 applications coming from students across the world. However, these astounding numbers mean that applicants went through UCLA's most competitive admission cycle pretty much ever. Statistics show how difficult it was to get into this prestigious school with only 15,000 high school seniors, or approximately 10.8% of all applicants receiving an acceptance letter to be part of the class of 2025. In a press release, UCLA notes how remarkable the academic accomplishments of the future Bruins, from high GPAs and numerous honors and advanced placement classes to involvement in extracurricular activities, to exhibiting outstanding resilience displayed during an entire year of online high school. Of the 8,400 California students who were accepted, there has been an increase in Latino and African American admissions compared to last year, with them making up together 33% of admits, while Asian Americans and white students make up for 39% and 22% of admits, respectively. Admissions of first-generation college students rose to a record high of 32%, and students from low-income families hit 36% of the admitted student body. These statistics break down the patterns that UCLA and other UC systems have had before. That is, offering admission primarily to those who have had highest incomes or other kinds of socioeconomic privileges. As UCLA declares on its website and admission pamphlets, not everyone can be a Bruin, but a Bruin can come from anywhere. In Van Nuys, California, Marianne Borja, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Ellen.
Marianne, what are some of the strategies or tips that UCLA representatives have given to students or maybe even to their parents to increase the chance of acceptance to this, as we all know, globally renowned university?
Alan, something to note from UCLA's statement is that the removal of standardized testing in their application requirements had a positive impact on the number of students who applied to the school, with freshman applications increasing by 28% from 2020 to 2021. As for acceptance tips, UCLA has always encouraged potential Bruins to spend extra time on the application essays or their personal statements, where students are able to give insights to admission officers about their ambitions, extracurricular involvement, and even personal struggles that they may have been able to overcome. Alan?
That was Marianne Borja in Van Nuys. Thank you, Marianne, for the report.
Thank you.
Aspiring young lifeguards in LA County are enjoined to take part in this year's Junior Lake Lifeguard Program as it resumes operations after closing last summer. To tell us more, we have Rafaela Tigno with us this evening.
Thank you, Alan. The annual Junior Lake Lifeguard Program of the Los Angeles County Department of Parks and Recreation is currently in progress, keeping kids and teens throughout the county busy again this summer. The program promotes active physical lifestyle and teaches team building and life-saving skills as the youth work together as a community. It is designed for children ages 9 to 17, held annually with the exception of last year when it was canceled due to the pandemic. It runs in 3 sessions of 2 weeks each and is held in 3 park locations of Los Angeles: Castaic Lake Recreation Center, Frank G. Bonelli Regional Park, and Santa Fe Dam Recreation Area. The second session ends today and the third session begins next Monday. The young participants are taught and trained by experienced and professional lake lifeguards in learning basic CPR skills and first aid. Added to that are many more life-saving techniques, including rescue with paddle boards and how to use rescue cans. Parents looking for activities to fill their children's summer schedule every year might want to look into this program hosted by the LA County Parks and Recreation. In Panorama City, California, Rafaela Tigno, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
So, Rafaela, as we're still in the pandemic stages, what are the required safety protocols in place while participating in this Junior Lake Lifeguard Program?
Alan, students and instructors must wear their face coverings and masks with the exceptions of when they are swimming, eating, or drinking. There will also be a minimum of 6 feet physical distancing observed at all times, and temperatures will be taken on a daily basis, including health screenings. In addition to all this, the program will be taught in a cluster of smaller groups sizes with 15 participants, one instructor at a time, especially with the rampant circulation of the Delta variant in Los Angeles County. These enforced precautionary measures and protocols will ensure the safety of everyone while allowing the park's normal annual activities to continue as scheduled. Alan?
We appreciate the report as well as those scenes of fun in the sun. Thank you, Rafaela. Now, coming up, more updates from our California team. Eagle News America continues.
Pinag-uusapan ang mga technopreneurs dahil sa paglaganap ng internet, pero dahil nasa agrikultura ang solusyon sa kahirapan, kailangang maipauso na rin natin ang agripreneurs. Isa sa mga nagpapalaganap ng kahalagahan ng agripreneurship ay ang Go Negosyo. At para lalong maunawaan ang kahalagahan ng agripreneurship, makakasama natin ang Senior Advisor for Agripreneurship and Mindanao Programs Head ng Go Negosyo, Ms. Kingay Montiveros Malvar.
Digitalization is a great democratizer. It really equalizes the playing field at saka yung opportunities para sa mga tao. Ang dami nagbebenta online. So how will you make yourself unique? How will you make yourself attractive?
All these in this episode of Open for Business.
Ang trabaho naman talaga ng maritime group ng PNP is to enforce the maritime laws.
Tayo lang yung stricto, pero in other parts of the country, pwede na naman ang tourism.
Definitely, we are ready to respond to a possible spike.
Sapagkat ang aming intensyon ay makatulong lang sa mga tao na wala talagang magamit na gamot.
92 voted for this resolution, which will make it stronger, calling on the Justice Department to come up with more stringent ways to be able to avert these hate crimes against Asian Americans.
Mas marami po tayong magagamit ngayon na mga tools or mga equipment.
Maraming salamat, Weng, at sa buong puwersa ng Balitalakayan sa pagkakataong ito.
Tatalaka ngayon ang mga pangunahing balita live sa teleradyo ng Net25 at Radyo Aguila DCEC 1062. Kasama si Weng de la Fuente sa Balitalakayan.
We live in interesting times.
Totoo ang kasabihang may pera sa basura, lalo na kung magagawa ang iba't ibang bagay mula sa mga recyclable material na inaakala ng iba na itatapon na. May ilang barangay sa bansa ang nagre-recycle ng basura. at makikita ang iba't ibang bagay na gawa sa basura. Mga dekorasyon sa bahay, sa mga proyektong ito, nagiging malinis ang kapaligiran bukod sa mayroon pang pagkakakitaan.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced. Eagle News, because we live in interesting times.
Impormasyong mahalaga sa taong bayan. Patas na pagbabalita. Papakinggan ang magkabilang panig. Lilinawin ang mga issue at kaagad na ihahatid ng objektibo. Mata ng Agila. Tumadagit ng pinakasariwang pangyayari, hindi lamang sa loob ng bansa, kundi sa iba't ibang panig ng daigdig. Mula sa Eagle News teams at sa tulong ng makabagong teknolohiya, tiyak na makakalap kaagad ang katotohanan. Para sa mas matalas, malinaw at malalimang pagbabalita. Ito ang mas pinatalas na Mata ng Agila. Inihahatid ng veteranong broadcast journalist na si Eli Saludar. Kasama si Binibining Pilipinas Intercontinental 2019, Emma Tiglao. At pinangungunahan ng batikang mamamahayag ng bansa, Vic De Leon Lima. Mata ng Agila, Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 6 hanggang alas 8 ng gabi, dito sa Net 25.
Samahan sina Wedge Kujamat,
itong balitang panggising sa ulo ng mga balita.
Apple David,
Sa 60 katao ang isinugod sa ospital.
TV Publiko
Economic sabotage ang mga tiwaling negosyante.
at Cristel Fesalbon
Pagpresyo ng gulay, makakausap natin
para iatid sa inyo ang mga kaganapan at pangyayari sa bansa at sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo. Mga napapanahong isyu ng bayan. May balitang sports, entertainment at iba pang kaalaman. Simula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 5 ng umaga sa paborito nyong morning show, Pambansang Almusal, dito sa Net 25.
Pambansang Almusal.
Layla Agbalag brings us the latest on the first ever Olympic virtual series. Layla, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Alan. The very first Olympic virtual series, or OVS, A 42-day series ends with about 250,000 online participants coming from more than 100 countries with over 2 million entries. This virtual event is a collaboration amongst the International Olympic Committee, or IOC, 5 international sports federations, and 4 game publishers. Among these were the World Baseball Softball Confederation, Fédération Internationale des Automobiles, or FIA, World Sailing, World Rowing, and Union Cycliste Internationale, or UCI. The OVS commenced on May 13th with competitions held on various days to highlight the different online sporting events, with the concluding day on June 23rd, dubbed as Olympic Day. Kit McConnell, the International Olympic Committee sports director, states, "This inaugural Olympic virtual series has been a tremendous opportunity for the IOC and the Olympic movement to take an important first step into the virtual sports space. After many years of exploring how we can engage with esports and the gaming community, we are proud to have collaborated with these 5 international federations and passionate audiences to celebrate virtual sports with participants from around the world. The OVS focuses to extend on the increasing popularity of online sports to further the ideals of the Olympic Games, from values to participation in sports. The 42-day event features baseball, motorsports, sailing, rowing, and cycling. Over 3 million kilometers were recorded in the cycling sport, and more than 20,000 kilometers rowed in the virtual route from Rio to Tokyo." In Bakersfield, California, Layla Agbalog, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Ellen.
So those figures posted, they're pretty impressive. But tell us, how popular and successful was this first ever Olympic virtual series?
Alan, the OVS proved very successful. There were more than 750,000 video views at its website on Olympics.com, as well as almost 1 million individual users. There were also over 7 million posts and comments on the Olympic social media site. So this very first OVS garnered a lot of attention worldwide, especially with more than 100 countries participating. Back to you, Alan.
That's fantastic. My dreams of being an Olympian are still alive and well thanks to this report. I appreciate it, Layla. The newly renovated Lloyd Tabor Marina Del Rey Library awaits bibliophiles as it shows off its new features. Brianna Andrade reports.
Thank you, Alan. The Los Angeles County Public Library highlights the newly renovated Lloyd Tabor Marina Del Rey Library at an open house from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The $1 million plus renovation was sponsored by the Los Angeles County District 4 Capital Fund of Supervisor Janice Hahn, and the project commenced almost 2 years ago on November 1st, 2019, and finished in 1 year's time on November 1st, 2020. The project's architect was JTC Architects, and the project contractor was MTM Construction, with the assistance of the Management Services of the Los Angeles County Internal Services Department. The Lloyd Tabor Marina Del Rey Library reopened for limited in-person services on May 10 as part of the phased reopening procedures of the county. The open house was held yesterday for the public to view the various renovations and refurbishments made on this library, which range from new furniture, computers, laptops, vending machines, and self-checkout machines, to a family play center, an area dedicated for kids and teens, and even a functioning boat steering wheel for kids as they look out at the marina. With a brand new exterior paint, nautical floor design map carpeting, and new shelving panel with oceanic themes, topped with a restriped parking lot, this library looks to cast a wide net in hopes of capturing a large haul of library goers. In Santa Clarita, California, Brianna Andrade, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
So Brianna, I hearken to the days of old when libraries were places that basically only had books. But watching your report, I can tell a lot's changed. So what can you say about libraries today for someone who maybe hasn't visited in a while?
Well, Alan, these days there are a lot more than just books that can be found at most public libraries. For those without access to the internet, libraries are an air-conditioned, centralized Wi-Fi hub useful especially for job seekers. And during summer, they offer arts and crafts, exploration, and interactive activities that are held at various libraries, which are all good for keeping kids mentally stimulated while on break. Well, I know I haven't been in a library in a while. I wanted to ask you, Alan, when was the last time you went to a library?
That's an easy one. The last time my air conditioning broke. Thanks, Brianna, for that report. Los Angeles City Controller Ron Galperin is not happy with the Hyperion sewage spill that happened last week, and he wants an explanation. Daniel Glensukulis reports.
Thank you, Alan. Los Angeles City Controller Ron Galperin is asking for an explanation from the Los Angeles City Sanitation and Environment regarding the Hyperion sewage spill that took place early last week. City Controller Galperin tweeted, "I sent a letter and information request to the Los Angeles City Sanitation and Environment seeking answers about the cause and true impact of the spill that sent 17 million gallons of untreated sewage directly into the Santa Monica Bay from the Hyperion water reclamation plant last week." He addressed the letter to the attention of Barbara Romero, the director and general manager of the LA Sanitation and Environment, or LASAN. One of the concerns detailed in this correspondence was the notification issue as to why it took LASAN almost 24 hours to inform Los Angeles residents of this spillage incident. Just over a week ago on Sunday, July 11th in the afternoon, the Hyperion water reclamation plant released about 17 million gallons of untreated wastewater into the Santa Monica Bay. City Controller Galperin described this sewage spillage as an event that was both an environmental disaster and imminent threat to the health and safety of millions of the residents in and around the city. Frontline crew workers of LASAN worked throughout the night to remedy sewage discharge, with the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health assisting to place beach closure signs at Dockweiler State Beach surrounding this area of the spillage. Many residents in this community still were unaware. LASAN informed the public the next day on Monday in the very late afternoon, after 5 p.m. The notification was done through the department's social media sites. Public health officials also issued a press release in the evening on which areas of the ocean were affected. In West Hills, California, Daniel Glensukulis, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
So, Daniel, we're curious, what are the concerns of the city were detailed in this letter that you were reporting on?
You know, Alan, other concerns in this letter were demands on more answers and explanations from LASAN on if the department has begun its own independent investigation into this incident and which entities will confirm their initial assessments, including the time frame that it will take to complete all of this. Also, what is the direct effort of the spillage on the environment, public health, including the financial aspect, and how this will impact the local taxpayers. The letter was very detailed with many questions requiring specific answers from LASAN. Alan?
Thank you for the story, Daniel. Keep us posted.
Thank you.
Layla Agbalag brings us the latest on the first ever Olympic virtual series. Layla, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Alan. The very first Olympic virtual series, or OVS, a 42-day series, ends with about 250,000 online participants coming from more than 100 countries with over 2 million entries. This virtual event is a collaboration amongst the International Olympic Committee, or IOC, 5 international sports federations, and 4 game publishers. Among these were the World Baseball Softball Confederation, Fédération Internationale des Automobiles, or FIA, World Sailing, World Rowing, and Union Cycliste Internationale, or UCI. The OVS commenced on May 13th with competitions held on various days to highlight the different online sporting events, with the concluding day on June 23rd, dubbed as Olympic Day. Kit McConnell, the International Olympic Committee sports director, states, "This inaugural Olympic virtual series has been a tremendous opportunity for the IOC and the Olympic movement to take an important first step into the virtual sports space. After many years of exploring how we can engage with esports and the gaming community, we are proud to have collaborated with these 5 international federations and passionate audiences to celebrate virtual sports with participants from around the world. The OVS focuses to extend on the increasing popularity of online sports to further the ideals of the Olympic Games, from values to participation in sports. The 42-day event features baseball, motorsports, sailing, rowing, and cycling. Over 3 million kilometers were recorded in the cycling sport, and more than 20,000 kilometers rowed in the virtual route from Rio to Tokyo." In Bakersfield, California, Layla Agbalog, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
So those figures posted, they're pretty impressive. But tell us, how popular and successful was this first ever Olympic virtual series?
Alan, the OVS proved very successful. There were more than 750,000 video views at its website on Olympics.com, as well as almost 1 million individual users. There were also over 7 million posts and comments on the Olympic social media site. So this very first OVS garnered a lot of attention worldwide, especially with more than 100 countries participating. Back to you, Alan.
For tonight's entertainment news, we've Chester Castro in Northridge. Chester, what's the latest?
Thank you, Alan. After nearly an entire decade since a GI Joe film has been released, the beloved and iconic toy and media franchise is finally making a comeback to Muay. As GI Joe is the toy franchise that coined the term action figure, viewers can expect brisk and high-stakes operative scenes, which will set the bar for other action movies. Snake Eyes will be released in theaters across the country tomorrow on July 23rd. It will then be released on the streaming service Paramount Plus 45 days after its theatrical release. In Northridge, California, Chester Castro, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
You know, Chester, I don't want to date myself because that's an awfully narcissistic thing to do, but I will confess that I was a kid growing up with the original American GI Joe cartoon series, and there was, of course, the toys and the action figures that you mentioned that went along with this successful cartoon series. And now we have films of the GI Joe world. But moving forward from Snake Eyes, what are the film-making teams of GI Joe? What are their next steps in making GI Joe one of the most anticipated and high-powered action franchises in the world?
Well, Alan, even before Snake Eyes release, Paramount and Hasbro have already...
Thanks, Chester. We'll see you at the movies.
Thank you. I'll see you too, brother Alan.
Several stories from our business desk tonight. The airline industry is bouncing back this summer as profits begin to return. Plus, inflation is pushing prices higher for consumer goods. Business correspondent Bobby Soriano reports.
Good evening. U.S. markets have closed. Here are your latest business headlines. Less than a year after growing concerns of bankruptcy in the airline industry, airlines are finally starting to turn a profit. This morning, American Airlines reported its first profitable quarter since COVID-19 broke and said current booking trends will lift travel volumes closer to pre-pandemic levels this coming third quarter. American became the latest airline to report a steep jump in second quarter revenue, following the footsteps of its competitor Delta, as widespread distribution of the coronavirus vaccine has increased confidence in the safety of traveling again. The company had 44 million passenger trips in the period, more than 5 times the level in the 2020 period, and reported 19 million in profits during the quarter, compared with a loss of 2.1 billion this time last year. Revenues were 7.5 billion, nearly 5 times the level in the year-ago period. The positive numbers was acknowledged to be the result of stimulus help during the onset of the pandemic. U.S. airlines have seen strong demand for domestic leisure travel and strengthening indications of a recovery in business travel. However, international travel continues to remain below pre-pandemic levels, due in part to the continued pandemic restrictions in Europe and Asia. Several European countries have begun to allow vaccinated Americans to enter their borders, but the U.S. State Department has yet to lift its travel ban for Europeans looking to come to the U.S. Some common household items that you stock on your shelves are looking at a price increase soon. Today, consumer goods giant Unilever warned that price increases would be seen across several of its product lines as it attempts to pass the rising costs of inflation to its customers. Unilever, owner of well-known brands such as Ben & Jerry's, Lipton Tea, and Dove soap, announced the warning as the higher cost of raw ingredients, packaging, and transportation is causing the profit margins to drop a percentage point from last year to 18.8%. News of the drop led to shares of Unilever dropping 5% during today's trading session. The London-listed consumer goods giant said it would step up price increases across the world, having already raised prices 1.6% in the second quarter. Unilever is not the only one being affected by the rising cost of raw goods and services, as other packaged food manufacturers, including Procter & Gamble and General Mills, have also issued warnings of price increases on their goods this coming year. Inflation has become a growing concern for the U.S. economy, which has rapidly increased due to pent-up consumer demand left over from the pandemic, and the lack of supply to fulfill that demand as a continued shortage of components, ingredients, and labor is being felt in several major industries. Turning to economic numbers, the Labor Department reported a slight increase in unemployment claims from the previous week, but continues to trend downward back to pre-pandemic levels. U.S. markets closed in the green following solid earnings reports this week, approaching their all-time highs even after the sell-off this past Monday. Reporting from New York, Bobby Soriano, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
It is nice to see folks traveling again. Thank you, Bobby. When we come back, catching up with our little EBC friends. Eagle News America will be right back. Stay with us.
Hey there, Arnie Aquino here at Hatley Castle, one of the filming locations for the X-Men series. Don't forget to tune in to Digital Nest only on Net 25.
All right, ever wonder how kids are spending their second COVID-19 summer? Well, wonder no more, because we have our little EBC friends joining us on our broadcast tonight. And we'd like to bring them on right now so we can discuss their experiences. There they are. We want to welcome Seth. We want to welcome Sarah and David. Is that Lance and Nigel, Gabriella and Ileana? And so in the absence of a classroom setting, I'll put on the teacher's cap and you can refer to me as Mr. Allen, your teacher for today. So I'm just going to go in order right here. Seth, just tell us, how's your summer going so far?
Well, my summer's going pretty good. My family and I have been doing like loads of things this summer.
Can you tell us a few of the things that you've been doing that's so fun?
Well, we've gone to Universal Studios Hollywood this summer just 3 times. And we've also gone to the O'Melveny Trail.
It's the cool shows.
Okay, great. So you said you went to Universal Studios 3 whole times. That's amazing. Seth, do you know what's the best part about going to Universal Studios? It would be taking your teacher, Mr. Allen, with you next time. Keep that in mind. Let's move over to the Kushos, David and Sarah. Okay, David and Sarah, since you're a tag team tonight, I want to ask you, think about last summer. What are the things that are the same as this summer, or what are some things that are different from last time? Talk to us.
It was similar because I took summer enrichment. It was different because I have sports class now. For me, it is almost the same because everything is familiar with me. The only thing is that I'm taking basketball lessons now, and I've just been reading my books.
Excellent. Summer enrichment, and you're staying very active. That's what that's what I feel that all kids should do while they're on their break. Good for you. I'm just going to move down one square to the Rogaciones. I believe that's Lance and Nigel, a couple of handsome fellows right there. All right, boys, tell us, we've already heard about where Seth has gone. How about where you'd like to go? This right now is a shout out to mom and dad, kind of giving them a hint. This is where I want to go. Talk to us, boys.
This summer we went to Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming, and Montana we went to Yellowstone, and we also went to Glacier Park.
Those are all just like ideas of nature. That's wonderful. How about any places you want to go? Any place in particular?
I want to go to Disneyland this summer.
And I want to watch the NBA games live.
Well, there you go. We can't show you the NBA games, but maybe it's you playing. That'll be close enough. All right, that's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that with us. I'm gonna scooch on over to the next block over here to the coolest young ladies. Young ladies right there, Gabriella and Ileana. All right, let's talk about vacation rules. Right, all children have vacation rules that comes from mom and dad. Can you tell us some of the rules that you have, that mom and dad have, and have you ever broken any of those rules? As you can tell, they have to think. They have to think deeply about this one because they don't want to get themselves in trouble. But it's okay. We guarantee mom and dad aren't listening. But go ahead and tell us any vacation rules that you've broken. We won't tell them a thing, ladies.
One that I broke was probably I didn't put away the dishes when I was told to.
All right, that was Ileana, right? Okay, how about you, Gabrielle? You're just sitting there smiling like the cat that swallowed the mouse. What about you? Are you on the straight and narrow, or are there some rules that you may have bent a little bit?
I don't think I remember breaking any rules.
Look at that. She is the paragon of virtue, and I think younger sister Ileana could learn a thing or two from her. I want to go back. I want to stay with you, Ileana and Gabriella. Talk to us about your summer. How's it going?
Great. We've been doing a lot of activities like going outside and just driving around.
And talk about last year. Compare how it was last year to this year. Is it the same story, or is your summer vacation a little bit different?
I think that it's a little bit different because we can't go out as much because of the pandemic, and we can't really travel right now.
Got it. Okay. So what I want to ask right now, if I could have all the little EBC correspondents on the screen, just by a show of hands, how many of you, and I'll wait for our little EBC friends to come back on screen, how many of you have, let's see here, waiting, okay, how many of you have done some kind of vacation fun in the water? All of you. Okay, Seth, talk to us. what kind of fun in the water did you enjoy this so far?
Well, just last week we discovered a pool. We discovered a pool in our apartment. Well, we haven't swam in it because of COVID-19. But now that restrictions are lifted, I've gone to the pool and swam. I met some new friends. Yeah.
Got it. So during COVID-19, it wasn't a swimming pool. It was a staring pool because you could only just stare at it. What we find very interesting there, Seth, is you said you discovered a pool at your apartment. How long have you been living at your apartment? How many years?
Like ever since March.
So March to July, and you've discovered a pool. Okay, great. You got to explore a little bit more. I'm going to move over to the Cushios because you also raised up your hand. What are some of the fun water activities or experiences you've had this summer?
So one time when we went to Last National Park, we went to Lake Helen, and I saw something that I think I would see there, and I saw a salamander. I'm not sure what kind of salamander though, but when I saw them, they saw me, and then they just ran away so quickly that I couldn't take a picture. We are also
Go ahead.
We are also swimming at our uncle's house.
Your uncle, does he have a lake?
No, he has just a pool.
Okay, all right. So he has a big backyard, not big enough for a lake, but he has a pool in his backyard. Okay, let's move down to the Resurgence fellas. Lance and Nigel, what kind of water activities have you been doing?
The water activities we did is water rafting at Glacier Park. It was fun, and we got to get wet.
There it is. A little bit less tame on screen than rapids. Was it scary being on the rapids, or did you handle it okay?
Well, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. Adventurous young. Go ahead.
Off the raft.
Okay, excellent. All right. Lastly, the Secoulis ladies, talk to us real quickly about your water experiences during the summer vacation.
One of our water experiences is that we got to swim at our cousin's house a lot because we have a pool and we got to spend time with them.
Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing, Secoulis ladies, about your water experiences. Although I know for one of your water experiences did not include washing dishes. But we're going to talk more about that, about your experiences in a little bit. And we want all of our viewers to stay tuned because we're going to have more with our little EBC friends when we come back. You want to stay with us.
In good shape. Do's and don'ts that will help you stay fit for the rest of your life. We answer the question, what do our bodies really need? In good shape.
From enjoying summer vacation to our kids gearing up for back to school life this coming fall. We want to talk with our EBC friends again, our little EBC friends, for their experiences, or rather their plans on what they're going to do when school starts again. So we want to bring them all back with us in our broadcast. And at this time, what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick lightning round. We're going to go left to right from top to bottom. So there's no confusion. You know exactly when you're on. And when you're on, you just want to unmute yourself for your response. Okay, we'll just wait for us to come back all together. There you go. Okay, so from left to right, starting first with Seth, to the Cushos, then to the Secoulises, then to the Resurgence. Okay, so again, real quickly, unmute yourself when it's your turn. Here we go. Name one thing, just one thing, that you're going to bring with you to school. It cannot be the same as everybody else's. Let's go. Seth, unmute yourself. What's one thing you're going to bring to school?
Myself.
Okay, next. Sarah.
I'm going to bring my school supplies.
School supplies. That's too general. We want something specific. How about you, David? Something specific. What kind of supplies?
My smile for me.
Your smile. That's a good supply to bring. Gabriella, something you're going to bring to school.
My lunch.
Lunch. Important. Ileana.
My mask.
Your mask. Okay, excellent. The Regacion boys, either one of you, go ahead.
I
unmute yourself.
And I would bring my water.
Water, excellent. Okay, we're going to move on. Let's go back to Seth. Seth, talk to us. How about for this upcoming school year? What's exciting about it for you?
So I'm pretty excited to meet my friends in person again because I haven't seen them for like a year now, and also recess.
Can't blame you at all. Let's move on to the Cusio kids. How about some things you're not looking forward to with this coming year?
I'm not looking forward to wearing a mask in science class sometimes.
How about you, David?
I'm not looking forward to wearing a mask and not being able to do as much stuff as I would do without wearing a mask.
Got it. It really is that mask can be a bit restrictive. Let's move on to our young ladies over here. What grade will you be in this fall? Go ahead and tell us.
I will be going to 10th grade. And I will
Amazing.
be 7th grade.
10th and 7th. Are you both looking forward to it, or do you wish you still had a year in your old grade?
I wish I still had a year in my old grade. I'm looking forward to going into my next grade.
There you go, looking towards the future and one thinking about yesterday. Now, lastly, let's go to the Regacions. All right, fellas, talk to us. Are you going to get good grades this coming school year?
I have a feeling that I'm going to get good grades because I've still been doing comprehension and I've still been reading this summer.
Excellent. And well, you know what? If I'm going to give a grade to our incredible Eagle News correspondents tonight, I'll give them all an A+. And we want to give an A+ also to our viewers who joined us tonight. That is today's Eagle News America. We want to thank you for joining us. I'm Alan Bosoyahe. We live in interesting times.
Start up your weekday mornings with edutainment.